Hello everyone, my name's Max and I'm going to show you how to cook some brown rice. But before I get into that, I just want to cover a few things about brown rice. There are a few ways you can go about cooking brown rice, really any rice for that matter. You could go the absorption method, you can boil the rice just like you would pasta, and you could even steam it, kind of like vegetables. Obviously there are rice cookers too, they're very nice to have. I actually have one, I have a Panasonic SRD 103, works really great, it's got fuzzy logic, and it's just an awesome investment to have, especially if you really like rice. There are a couple types of different brown rice. You could do short grain or long grain. I prefer short grain. It has a little more starch content and it just overall I think tastes better. You might find it more often at a restaurant too. But they both end up cooking about the same in the same amount of time. So let's get started. So the first thing, of course, wash your hands. So once you wash your hands, get out about a medium-sized saucepan or pot, whatever you want to boil it in, just as long as you have a lid for it. You want to pick a size so that the rice is no more than 2 inches in depth while it's dry inside of the pot or the saucepan. If it's more than that, it just doesn't turn out well. There's not enough surface area for the heat to interact and evaporate the water in there. But anyways, you're going to get a measuring cup. This is 0.75 cups, 3/4 of a cup. Doesn't matter how much rice you're going to cook, as long as you just put in 2 to 2.2 times the amount of water you did rice. Anyway, you're going to want to flat measure the rice so that it's not overflowing in your measuring cup. And then you need to rinse it. You don't have to really rinse it though. I mean, if you want to, you can. I just rinse it because I think it gets off any debris, and I don't like debris or any dirt that might be on it because who knows where it was. I have a strainer, but traditionally you could even rinse it inside the bowl and kind of switch your hands around, let it come out. But to make it quick, just put it right into the strainer, put some cold water, rinse it for about 20-30 seconds. Alrighty, so the rice is rinsed, put it back in, and now I'm going to add some water. I know now that there's definitely going to be a little bit more water in there since the rice has just been treated with water, but still go with about 2.2 times the amount of rice you put in. So here's 1. 2, and I'll just add a little bit more. So about so. Spread it out a little bit, and then now it's really important with brown rice to let it soak. Let it soak for at least 1 hour. Several hours is even better. Brown rice is brittle. It still has the bran still on it, so that can crack in the cooking process. So if you soak it, that'll sort of prevent that. And then you won't have a bunch of starch oozing out and it won't ruin your rice. So make sure you just soak it, and then we'll come back and we'll cook this here in about a couple hours. Okay, so I've let the rice soak now. It's actually been soaking for about 7 hours, but in that case it really doesn't hurt anything here. You don't have to do it for that long. You can do it for at least an hour and that's good, but 7 hours. Put it on the stovetop, turn your heat up to about 70 to 80%. Don't do it all the way up, it's just let the rice kind of gradually heat rather than just shock it into heat. And then just add some salt, about a teaspoon, maybe a little less. And then just bring that to a boil and put the lid on. So I got a generous boil going now. I'm going to put the lid on. Turn the heat down to about medium-low. Don't put it all the way down or anywhere near low. Keep it about 30, maybe 35% of what your burner does. For this, it'll probably vary for each person, but the idea is basically the amount of water you put in should be just about gone between 40 and 50 minutes. So basically what you'd really want to do is adjust your heat so that all the water would be absorbed in that time period. Your heat's too low if it goes over 50 minutes, your heat's too hot if it's under 40. So it's been about 30 minutes and I guess the surface of the water has now gone underneath the surface of the rice. So maybe that's just something to keep an eye about when you're cooking yours. Also, don't ever take the lid off. It kind of ruins the rice. It's just important. Leave the lid on so that it can steam and do everything it needs to do. So I've just hit about 45 minutes, and now it's time to turn the heat off. It might vary for you, but I determined that the rice was done just by listening to the water kind of like sizzle in there, as well as note the amount of steam coming up, and as well as look inside. It's obviously, if you have a clear lid, to see if the rice almost looks sort of dry on top. That's what you want. If it looks wet and mushy, you probably did something wrong at this point. But for now, the heat's off. Leave the lid on for about 5 to 10 minutes. Just let everything finish up inside the pot, and then we'll take it off and see how it came out. So now I've waited about 10 minutes. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. See how it turned out. Okay. You can get like a rice paddle like this. This came from the rice cooker I have, but anything really works. Just fluff the fork. Obviously don't use any metallic instrument inside of a non-stick coating, because that will scratch and destroy it. Let's see how it turned out. That to me looks pretty good. The grains are all individual. I don't see much cracking at all. The cracking would occur if you didn't soak it, because the bran would break open and the starch would kind of leak out. Overall, that's what I would call about perfect brown rice in the stovetop. So before I close up here, I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. Please let me know how your results were. Maybe I can help you point out any mistakes you may have made. And for next time, you can make corrective action. If you want to keep your rice longer than what you have it for, you can store it for 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator. Just make sure you bring it up to room temperature before you place it in the refrigerator, whatever container you put it in. If your results weren't as good as you wanted them to be, maybe you could try again and improve, but in the end, there's always the rice cooker, and the rice cooker is just an awesome thing to have. It really simplifies the process, makes it a lot easier, and it always turns out really, really good rice. And based on my research, lots and lots of Asian people have rice cookers, and well, Asian people know a thing or two about their rice, don't they? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned because more videos are always to come. Thank you.